He sat alone on the bus, his graduation cap hidden in a plastic bag, but no one knew the battles he had fought to get here. This was more than a ceremony, it was his victory against the odds. Will he find the happiness he deserves? The bus rattled down the worn city streets, but he barely noticed. His hands clutched a shopping bag, inside, his cap and gown remained untouched. Today should have been a celebration, a moment of pride, but instead, he felt a hollow ache in his chest. He had no family waiting in the audience. No cheers. No warm embraces. Just the silent hum of the bus and strangers who didn't know his story. All around him, life moved on, laughter from a group of teens, an elderly woman staring out the window, a mother rocking her baby. Yet, he felt invisible. He had worked so hard, battled so much, and still, this moment felt empty. He wondered, does any of this even matter? As the bus jerked to a stop, an older man glanced at him, eyes drifting to the shopping bag in his lap. The man gave a small nod, as if to acknowledge something unspoken, but the young graduate quickly looked away. He wasn't used to kindness, it had been absent from his life for too long. He hadn't always been alone. His mother once told him that education was his golden ticket, the one thing no one could take from him. But she wasn't here anymore. The day she passed, his world shattered, and the dreams he once had felt impossible. With no money, no support, and no place to turn, he worked night shifts at a diner, slept in shelters, and studied under streetlights when the electricity in his apartment was cut off. He had learned to survive on instant noodles and resilience. While others had families to guide them, he had to be his own strength. There were nights he nearly gave up, nights where hunger gnawed at him, where exhaustion made his vision blur, where the loneliness was unbearable. There were mornings he sat in class after only an hour of sleep, struggling to stay awake, feeling like an imposter among students who had their lives neatly laid out for them. Yet, against every odd, he had made it. And now, here he was, headed to his graduation alone, with only his dreams as his companion. As he walked into the crowded graduation hall, his breath hitched. Families huddled together, mothers wiping away tears of joy, fathers clapping proudly, siblings holding up homemade signs. His seat, however, remained empty. The loneliness pressed against him like a weight, but he straightened his shoulders. He had come too far to break now. When his name was called, the applause was distant, impersonal, just another name in a sea of graduates. But as he walked across the stage, something inside him shifted. This moment wasn't for anyone else. It was for the boy who once cried himself to sleep. For the young man who had wanted to give up. For the dreamer who refused to quit. And suddenly, that was enough. As he exited the auditorium, gripping his diploma, a voice called out. "Excuse me. I just wanted to say, I saw you on the bus earlier." He turned to see an elderly woman with kind eyes. "You remind me of my grandson. He wasn't able to finish school, but if he had, I know I'd be so proud, just like I am of you today." Tears welled in his eyes. For so long, he had craved acknowledgement, validation. And here, from a complete stranger, he found it. She smiled and gently placed a bouquet in his hands. "Congratulations, young man. You deserve it." For the first time that day, he allowed himself to smile, because for the first time, he truly felt seen. The streets were quieter now, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. He walked with the bouquet in one hand and his diploma in the other, his steps slow and measured. It was strange how a few words from a stranger had filled the void he had carried for so long. As he passed by a storefront window, he caught his reflection. For the first time, he saw something different. He didn't just see the tired eyes and worn-out clothes. He saw a survivor. A fighter. A man who had earned his place in the world, despite everything that had tried to stop him. His mother had always believed in him. And maybe, just maybe, it was time for him to start believing in himself too. That night, he placed his diploma on the small table beside his bed. He stared at it for a long time, tracing the embossed letters with his fingertips. He had done it. No one could take this from him. And then, something unexpected happened. His phone buzzed. It was a message from his professor, a job opportunity. A paid internship at a company willing to take a chance on him. His heart pounded. Could this be the start of something new? Something better? With a deep breath, he typed his response, "I'm interested. When can I start?" For the first time in a long time, the future didn't seem so lonely. It seemed full of possibility. And that night, as he closed his eyes, he didn't feel alone. He felt hopeful. Weeks later, he rode the bus again, this time with a different weight in his chest. The exhaustion, the loneliness, they were still there, but lighter now. Manageable. As he stared out the window, he noticed a young girl sitting a few seats away, nervously clutching a folder. Her hands trembled, her lips pressed into a thin line. He recognized that look, the fear of stepping into an unfamiliar world alone. He hesitated for a moment, then spoke softly. "Hey, are you heading somewhere important?" She looked up, surprised. "Yeah. First job interview." He smiled, reaching into his bag and pulling out a small, neatly folded paper. His resume, the first one he ever wrote, full of crossed-out mistakes and hard-earned lessons. "Take this," he said. "It might help." Her eyes widened. "Really?" "Yeah." He nodded. "And just remember, no matter how alone you feel, you're not. You belong here." The girl took the paper with shaky hands, a small smile forming on her lips. And as the bus continued down the road, he realized something. Maybe his journey wasn't just about him. Maybe it was about helping someone else feel seen, just like that old woman had done for him. Because sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one kind word, to remind someone that they are not alone. And that is enough to change everything. Your story matters. If this touched your heart, hit the like button, comment below with your thoughts, and share this with someone who needs inspiration.